Hello everybody, Mike aka the Magico13 here with the Out of This World series. So you'll remember that in the last episode we trapped Dunzer Kerman on the moon with not enough fuel to actually return to his ship that's in orbit. So he's stuck down here in what I was hoping would be a Kethane deposit, which ended up being just very slightly off. Yeah, so we've got to attempt to rescue him, so I've devised this creation, which is basically just a bunch of fuel tanks. And these will partially refill the primary ship, and when we refuel this, we can drop this down some so that it's just barely orbiting around the moon, and then use the fuel that we have left in the lander to hopefully intercept it. Hopefully. I'm not actually sure if it'll even have enough fuel. It's got about 700 meters per second of delta V left, and I'm afraid that the orbit is going to be something like 800 meters per second. And so it might come close, but we might not actually make it. At the very least, we should be able to make it into orbit. So this ship that I've got here is going to take about 5 days to build. And we've got a transfer in 6 days. And then Dunzer will run out of time, aka life support, in 9 days. So yeah, it's time to try to save him. Now I could use the time really effectively and map the moon while we're sitting here, but I'll let you in on a secret. I've actually already tried this, and I had to redesign this launcher a little bit. So I've had to go back 5 days, and now I have to remap the moon, and frankly I just don't really want to do it right now. So when we get him safely back on the ship, we can remap the moon. Yeah, so that ship has... The Kethane lander has about 9 hours, 21 minutes of life support left. And the Explorer, with one person in it, has 556 days. With 2 people, it's obviously going to be half that, so it's still like 250 days worth of life support. Hello, cat. You're very big. Oh, you apparently threw out my sandwich container. Okay, so time to warp up, and then hopefully everything will actually work this time. Not sure if I'm going to actually include any of that other footage or not, but here we come, Dunzer. Alright. Ship is complete. We are refueled. Alright, so now we just need to open up our flight computer, make sure everything is set all to maximum, and press the space bar. I'm glad that you guys cannot hear this at the volume that I'm hearing it, because it's very loud. I just had to reduce the volume some. So yeah, I'm going to probably fast forward through this footage, so I will see you when we are ideally in orbit. Alright, so we're in orbit now, and it's just a matter of time before we start our burn. Hopefully we'll have enough delta V. It'll be pretty close, I think. We've got 1 day, 11 hours, roughly, until that burns, so let's time warp up. Alright, so there we go. We should now prepare for this. We got 3 days. Alright, it is about time for us to start burning. Oh, and of course we are... Oh no, we're not behind Joule. I thought we were behind Joule for a moment. I was going to say that is going to suck, because we won't have any electric charge, though I think... Yeah, we will be meeting the moon behind Joule, so this will be interesting, to say the least. I'm going to start burning now. I'm also going to activate this and make sure that it is pointed back at Kerbin. So that way when we get outside of the sphere of influence, we will still be when we get outside of the sphere of influence, we'll still have contact. And luckily we should have contact the entire way there. Let's see. Yes. So Kerbin will follow behind slowly, we'll end up here, Kerbin will be like here. We'll still be within range. We start to lose range around here. Yeah. And I've got it set up so that we should hopefully impact. The reason for that being we have these two side tanks, which we will hopefully not fully use up. For whatever reason, we're pointed slightly above the node, which is really annoying. Remote Tech really needs to fix that, because it does that with PreciseNode, and supposedly it does that when you restore Kerbal alarm clock nodes. Which is kind of annoying, honestly. Yes, luckily we are actually thrusting faster as we use more fuel, so we won't be too far behind, hopefully. Here we have a minute left. I need to really think this up more. 10, and roll a 0? Not really what I wanted, but that'll work. Let's make this 15. Yeah, that's not working at all. 25, 180. And heading a little bit positive to line up with it. Alright, there we go. Alright, looks like we are set to arrive at the moon in 14 hours, which will give us almost 2 whole days, roughly, to get him home safe. Oh yes, that's so weird. I turned off everything, so I still see those. Let's turn probes back on. Actually, let's leave probes off, put ships on. So yeah, we see them there. Okay, so let's add a sphere of influence transition. 10 seconds is good. And that hopefully won't change any. Let's also point in the normal direction. So I don't want to escape beforehand. There we go. And our periapsis is adjusting just a little bit. Have we already used these up? Yes, we have. In fact, we've started draining from here. That's fine. we can probably make a couple changes. Okay. This suddenly changed a lot. Okay, here we are. We're now apparently, 8 hours away. And let's see about getting that periapsis down just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do that. Let's point at the node. Hopefully this actually lines up. That would be ideal. Let's go for exec. Okay, we should be good for that. Let's point in the normal direction and eject these. Now, if we're lucky, those will collide. Otherwise, they're just going to be in orbit. That's fine. Whatever. And then let's make a couple changes so that we line up better. We don't want to intersect. That would be bad. Point in the node. And exec. There we go. We now have a 19-kilometer periapsis above the moon. Don't need stations, we want probes. I'm going to just do this to change my conics mode back to 3. And then remove this. And now we just basically have to time warp up. I can't apparently remove this maneuver. There we go. So let's add an alarm for sphere of influence change with 15 seconds. Here's hoping this goes how we want it to. Also point this in the normal direction so that the solar panels are getting some light. This moon encounters in 2 hours, 35, yeah, okay. Wait. Yeah, okay, that's right. Never mind. I'm worrying about nothing. I will be back in a moment. I am back, and at this point I'm doing this all post-commentary because someone had come home. I am actually doing this post-commentary, I think, about 2 months after when it was live commentary. So we are just now going to do our capture burn with the rescue refueler. I'm letting Remote Tech handle this one, I think. No, I'm not letting Remote Tech handle this one. I'm doing this one manually. So I've throttled up, and then it immediately throttles back down, and you may notice status connection error in the flight computer. We don't have a connection back to Kerbin because the moon is in the way. So this obviously isn't going to work like this. So I'm going to have to quick load, and then use Remote Tech and have Remote Tech execute the burn. And really annoyingly, I don't have the maneuver node anymore, so I have to set this up, but I'm not going to show you that. The burn is now executing. It's I don't remember what the total was, 300 and some, but I eventually match orbits and all of that. It takes like a long time, This is all sped up 4 times because trying to get 2 things to get near each other properly using the flight computer is less than easy. And this thing, for whatever reason, starts spinning wildly sometimes. I still have that issue. And it's only using remote tech. Whenever I turn SAS on, it's fine. These are close enough now that I'm going to try to just connect a fuel line between them. There is no docking port on the rescue refueler, so we're just going to use the Kerbal attachment system linking pipe things. You've actually seen them before. I use them between the lander and the main ship, which once we get that back up, I will have to do the same thing again. And now it's just a matter of, since these are connected, I can transfer fuel directly between them. But first, let's get Hadnard back in the ship, just to make sure nothing happens. These are kind of far away, but kind of close. And there we go, fuel is transferring, and we will, once we're done with that, we just unlink it. Hadnard does a backflip and smashes his face into the connector there. I'm actually going to come over here and turn that off, I guess, and take one of these connectors and just hook it onto the ship. I have apparently 2 of the little dipole antennas for some reason. I think I forgot that I had already made or attached one. And then you can see Kerbin in the distance. There's Lathe, Joule. We're actually going to be going to Lathe eventually. I'm not sure how many episodes that is. I haven't recorded that one yet, so we're actually getting to the point where I think this was the last episode, maybe the next episode is the last episode I recorded. There we go, 2,700 meters per second. That is enough to just go home if we wanted to. However, Dunzer's still on the surface, so we need to drop our orbit, and then hopefully we will be able to rendezvous the next time this comes around. That is the hope. The orbits are almost matched. If he were to just take off and head north, he would come pretty close to matching us, so that's ideal. But yeah, I think either this episode or the next episode was the last episode I'd recorded before I had taken over control of Kerbal Construction Time, which is why you saw the old UI at the beginning of this episode. And when that happened, I didn't get to play for a whole 2 months. So I just recently have started recording again, and I've been doing live commentary because it's kind of more fun. I've been watching a lot of Fifth Horseman's videos, and he does live commentary, and I think it's far more interesting. My girlfriend is sticking her tongue out at me because she thinks it's funny that I'm sitting here recording. Also because she just put water in our turtle's tank, and I didn't, and she was nagging me about it earlier. I did just say that you were nagging me. She's getting mad at me. So yeah, we are just burning north, trying to not collide into the terrain. I'm just periodically checking map view. We've got 400 meters per second of delta V left. We're going almost 300, I think. It's gonna be close. The little engine is trying so hard. I wish I could drop these side tanks, because honestly at this point it doesn't even matter. Once we get it up, we can refuel from the main ship's fuel tanks, which is something I need to keep in mind, because yeah, okay, no, forget what I'm saying right now. That's just something I need to keep in mind for a future episode, is that there is fuel in those tanks now. So you may be noticing a bit of an issue here. I'm setting up this maneuver node. It's going to cost 300 meters per second or so to get into even a stable orbit, and we have 85. So there is absolutely no way that there is enough fuel in these tanks. Oh, you can't drop the side tanks because that's where the fuel is. I forgot how this thing was designed. which may give you a little bit of an indication of what's going to happen to it if I no longer remember using it. So we are about to run out of fuel. I've got the RCS active and am just running entirely off of that now, just hoping to pick up some speed. You can see that rapidly decreasing, but we're rapidly approaching our apoapsis, and our periapsis is rising, but not very quickly. So, and our monopropellant is running out very, very quickly. We're already down to almost 50%. I don't think we're going to be able to make it doing this. And so I guess it's time that we decide on something else. So Dunzer, being the bad S flag Kerbal that he is going to try something a little risky, but you will have to wait till next episode for that. Until then, I'm Mike, aka VMagico13. I will see you all next time. He actually has to, like, get out now. Yeah, okay. Next time.